The Shepnaz Podcast begins now.
You're listening to the Shepnaz Podcast, a podcast at Shepherd Church. Everything we do here is to help people take their next step toward Jesus, and this podcast is part of that. We want to help you engage daily in spiritual development. Today, we're going to take a look at some of the things God's been doing around the world because you are a part of giving. We're going to talk to Shannon Smith, a missionary in Cambodia, and Bob Stephenson with Full Armor Bikers Nazarene Motorcycle Fellowship is here with me, a member of Shepherd, and we're going to talk about the chili cook-off that's coming up and how our biker ministry has supported missions in Cambodia. So, Bob, thanks for being here, man.
Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, it's good to have you on. It's always a good day when we see you, and you can't. You just
hang on. How much do you want?
Well, you said yes to this only after you lost power at home. So you're like, well, yeah, sure. Free lights.
Might as well. Yeah. I can even heat up my coffee here.
We had a couple at the church that I served at in Florida who they volunteered all the time at the church to come do stuff. And about a few months into it, I was just telling them how thankful I was for them. And my secretary said, "Oh, don't thank them. They just don't have AC at their house." So they still, to that day, had never put air conditioning in their house in Central Florida, but they sure would come stuff envelopes, fold bulletins, and
that's smart thinking.
But hey, they were saints. They really were. I say that in jest. They were amazing people. So, Bob, let's talk about something coming up. People probably know to this point that you serve in our Full Armor Biker ministry here at Shepherd, and you work with Nazarene Motorcycle Fellowship. But you have an annual event that really benefits everybody here at the church.
Definitely.
And so let's talk about the chili cook-off. It's coming up.
Yeah, so chili cook-off, March 10th. Things are a little bit different this year. First of all, we're not going to do the famous dessert auction that we normally do, which the chili cook-off and dessert auction is a major fundraiser for Full Armor. Mm-hmm. This year, we're just going to do the chili cook-off, and we're not going to charge anything for that. Mm-hmm. Normally, we charge an entry fee. It's part of raising funds for what we do. We're not going to do that this year. It's our way to say to Shepherd, thank you. Thank you for your support, for how you help us raise money for motorcycles around the world. So at 12:30 after second service, the chili cook-off, come in, taste the chilies, vote for the chilies. It's a People's Choice Award. We have 3 trophies we're going to give out. Somebody's going to get second or third place. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, and you said that people bring chili. So how would they sign up to bring a chili and to participate? And you probably need more this year if it's going to be free.
Absolutely,
you're going to have some folks are like, well, if it's free, I'm coming. So they're going to be needing more. So talk about that process.
Good question. So this Sunday we'll definitely have a sign-up sheet in the lobby. You can sign up for, you don't even have to tell us what you're bringing, but that you're bringing chili. Sign up. There's a little bit different this year, and that is if you don't think your chili's that great, but maybe you make a decent soup, you can bring that. But again, it's chili cook-off, but you bring anything. Sign-up sheet in the lobby. On March 10th, we will have folks down in the Family Life Center. That's the gymnasium all the way at the other end of the building. We'll keep your stuff hot, ready to go, and at 12:30, we'll open the doors. We'll start the event.
All right. Do you need any help? Any help setting up? You got that covered, or?
Full Armor covers that.
Right.
That's one of the things that we do is we handle these events, and even this year, though we're not trying to raise money, it's still our party. So come to our party, sample the chilies. We will still have a donation bucket out for Rusty Bellamy Bikes for Missions. Very important thing that we do. Yeah. Anytime we do anything, we always try to raise more money for Rusty Bellamy Bikes for Missions.
Yeah. Well, Bob, that's a great segue. So, hey, we're gonna take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're gonna dive into a conversation that Bob and I had with Shannon Smith. She is a missionary in Cambodia, serving Cambodia, and you, as being a part of Shepherd, were able to help support the mission that's happening in Cambodia and the incredible things that is happening by sending funds to purchase motorcycles. And so you're gonna hear that conversation when we come back from this quick break.
This Sunday is the Chili Cook-Off. Full Armor Bikers are hosting this free event as a thank you to Shepherd for how you've supported Full Armor Bikers and the Rusty Bellamy Bikes for Missions project. If you're bringing chili, you can bring it to the Family Life Center as early as 9 a.m. on Sunday morning. At 12:30, we'll join together to do samplings of the chilies. You don't have to bring chili, you can just attend as a taster and vote for your favorite chili. There are trophies and bragging rights to be had. Join us this Sunday at 12:30 p.m.
Well, we want to welcome Shannon in. Shannon is a missionary for the Church of Nazarene, serving in Cambodia in this moment. And we've shared a special connection here at Shepherd, and we wanted to pull her back to talk about some of the things that have happened. One of those things was because you gave here at Shepherd, and because we care about missions, we were able to support the work that's happening there. And part of that, we were able to provide the resources to purchase motorcycles for pastors. And so, Shannon, would you talk a little bit about that piece of the ministry? Because it's probably something that's pretty foreign to many American Christians, because we're used to tripping over churches as we walk down the street because they're everywhere. But kind of talk about the reason that's needed for these motorcycles and some of the things that have been able to happen because they have them. And Bob's here too, and Bob's part of our Full Armor Bikers and Nazarene Motorcycle Fellowship. And so this is a great conversation to have. So I'd love to hear some of the challenges and reasons why motorcycles are needed in the mission field and some of the things that have been able to happen because of it.
Well, in Cambodia, most of our churches are pretty far apart. Mm-hmm. So our pastors have to travel, and they don't have cars because cars would be way too expensive. They cost about 105% import tax if you have a car. And a bicycle wouldn't be very helpful because a lot of times they're traveling to villages that are more than 1 hour away. And so Cambodia is 95% Buddhist and only about 1% Christian. And because of that, there's just not church buildings everywhere. What usually happens is our people will see a village that doesn't have any Christian people, doesn't have any kind of presence of followers of Jesus. And they will go into that village and they will meet one or two people, and they will share the gospel with them and build relationships with them, usually first, maybe over several months or longer. And then after that person makes a decision to follow Jesus, they will start a church in their house. And so they're going back to this village over and over and over again. And without a motorcycle, it would be impossible because it's over dirt roads. It would take them hours to walk. But without the ability to have a motorcycle, they couldn't do the work that God is calling them to do.
Yeah. When we talk about that, we were able to help provide funding for that so that you could purchase them there, right? Because that kind of gets away from some of the import taxes and a lot of that stuff. So how many motorcycles have you been able to purchase and be able to distribute to local pastors?
So about 4 months ago, we purchased 4. And then just this week on Tuesday, so it's actually it's Wednesday here in Cambodia. I was getting confused, but yeah, it's Wednesday here in Cambodia. So on Monday, actually, we purchased 6 more, and we're able to give those to our district superintendent, to our zone leaders in 5 different zones all over Cambodia. And we are very, very thankful to Shepherd and Full Armor and Nazarene Motorcycle Fellowship for providing those funds for us.
Yeah. Cool. My thoughts of our district superintendents riding around on motorcycles at churches that make me so happy. Because my district superintendent at one point in Florida had a truck and a camper It's a little bit different.
Oh, wow.
So Shannon, tell us how things are going. We actually looked at it. It's been almost a year. It's been right about 11 months since you were on our podcast before. One of the few returning missionary presences on our podcast. So tell us how things have been going, and what some of the kind of wins in ministry have been since we talked last.
Well, one of the major things is like I said, our pastors find villages and provinces where there's no presence of the gospel. So we have actually planted churches in several other provinces probably since the last time that I talked to you. I know that we have churches, about 10 churches in 2 new provinces that had no Nazarene presence. And usually they don't plant a church in a village that has another denomination's church. So like we're not going into a village with 10 houses and there's a Baptist church there and planting another one. Or we're going to a village that doesn't have a presence of Christians at all.
Wow.
So that's one of the things. I can't remember if when I talked to you, we had a local DS yet, but now we have a local Cambodian DS, the first ever local DS.
Wonderful.
From Cambodia.
You have a local district superintendent, which is amazing because it means you're raising up leaders in Cambodia, which is a great step forward in any area to have local people who are able to be raised up as leaders, to be able to communicate to the people that they have known and love and respect. That's amazing. And then you've got, I'm really good at math, so 4 + 6, that's 10 motorcycles in the last few months that you've been able to purchase for pastors to go from place to place. That's incredible. What are some things, for you and your family that you're working on or praying for that we can join in and continue to pray for you?
For me personally, I've been doing a lot of administrative work for a while. Before we had the local DS, and that's what I was going to say before, is that we just ordained, in the past year, we've ordained 10 ordained elders in the Church of the Nazarene here, for the first ever 10 ordained elders. Wow. So now that we have some more pastors who are ordained, we have some more pastors who are being trained to be leaders, I'm hoping to move away a little bit from administrative work and do more with discipling youth and discipling leaders who are reaching out to the women in our churches, and do more hands-on ministry than more administrative things that I've been doing I still do a lot of hands-on ministry, but I feel like I do about at least 50% or more administrative, and I'm hoping to move away from that a little bit.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, we'll pray for that. We'll keep you in our prayers when it comes to that transition of leadership, so that you can get kind of more hands-on in some of the other stuff. And like you said, youth ministry and working with kids is incredibly important to continue that growth of generations in that church. That's awesome. So I think that I was told that you have some ministry time coming up here locally, coming back stateside for a little bit. When is that, and what could we do to pray for you there, and what are you hoping to accomplish in that time?
I could go on home assignment every year for 6 weeks. And my home assignment this year starts on June the 20th and ends on August the 13th. So I will be visiting churches, visiting people who are supporting the ministry here in Cambodia. I will be sharing about what God's been doing here in Cambodia and all of the ministry that's been happening, and how the funds that have been given for motorcycles, like you all gave, or we have medical projects and projects for leadership development. And when people give to those projects, they are helping spread the gospel in villages that do not have a Christian presence, do not have followers of Jesus. And so that's the kind of things that I will be doing. I will be going around and sharing about what God's been doing here, and then raising support to continue to do what God's called me to do here.
Yeah. And if people wanted to support you and your ministry specifically, how could they do that?
So I am a Nazarene missionary. So you can give through the Church of the Nazarene website, or you can actually give through Shepherd or any other church that's a Nazarene church. And when you give to the church directly, they can send through funding the mission and it goes straight to me, or you can give through the actual Nazarene church website, either way.
And we'll put a link in the show notes that if you want to give directly to her ministry, we'll put a link for that. And we'll also put a link for World Evangelism Fund so that you can be a part of that. We just recently had our Faith Promise Sunday, and really wanting the people who give here to understand that we are a global church, and that places like Cambodia, where it is so different, and helping people to see the difference and the beauty of the church worldwide is something that we're passionate about. So super thankful for you, Shannon, for being here. I think Bob's got something.
Yeah, just a couple of questions, Shannon. So one of the ways that we're able to help you was we got money moved through a project portal, excuse me, out on the Global Missions website. Will that project stay open? I'm assuming you'll always need transportation for pastors. Does that project stay open, or will that project come to an end, and then as the need arises, a new project will go out there? How does that happen? And sorry for the admin kind of questions.
Oh, no problem. Usually the project's on the website for a year. At the end of the year, if we want to continue the project, we just have to show that we still have a need, and often I will continue the project. And you are right. We always will have a need for motorcycles because it's the main form of transportation here. And since our pastors don't really get a salary, most of their church offerings every week are about $2.50. So in order to buy a motorcycle, it costs about $1,500 with a tag about $1,600. So even if they took all the offerings for themselves, which they don't do, they would never be able to buy a motorcycle. So
Wow.
Yeah, we will always have need.
And then again, to the admin side, just for folks that would see this and wonder about that money that's given for motorcycles, there's no administrative money taken from that. It's specifically for the purchase of that transportation. We always try to help folks understand, NMF, Global Missions, nobody gets a cut of that pie. There's no tax on that pie. And when that comes to you, you're doing what the project said you're going to do. You're going to buy motorcycles. And we also always pay for licensing, safety equipment, and that kind of stuff. But nothing else comes out of that money.
Right. Anytime you give to the Church of the Nazarene, to a missionary, or to any project, the Church of the Nazarene takes nothing from that. So all of the money that was given from Shepherd and Full Armor and Nazarene Motorcycle Fellowship to Cambodia, all of that money came straight to us. Nothing was taken out of it, and we were able to use it to purchase those motorcycles and to purchase the tags, and it came with helmets and everything. So yes, no money is ever taken from the money given to the Church of the Nazarene.
Yeah, thanks for the information. Also, thank you for how good a steward you were with that money and the number of motorcycles that you were able to purchase. I think that also helps just kind of bolster the idea that it's not frivolous money. You're meeting the need, you're meeting it the right way and in a cost-effective way. We appreciate that. I appreciate that effort that goes into that.
Thank you so much. And I really appreciate all of you who gave and all of you who made the effort to help this be possible, because these pastors have been needing good transportation for a long time.
Cool.
And so, Shannon, you said that some of your personal goals were that you'd like to kind of get out of the administrative stuff and more into hands-on ministry with kids, youth, and other things. What are some goals that the region there has that you're working on? You said recently that you've got 10 ordained elders. You've started multiple churches. What are some things that you're aiming toward this next year?
One of the main things that we're aiming towards is multiplying districts. So The whole country of Cambodia is one district.
That's nuts.
We have over 100 churches. I mean, it's not much bigger than the state of Indiana, is what I've been told. But
the
we have
state of
100
Indiana has
churches.
like 4 districts, so
Yeah, so we have 100 churches and 1 district.
yeah.
So it can be really costly when pastors have to travel really far.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that we're working on this year and praying about is multiplying districts to have at least 2 districts,
Okay.
so that we can have more focused ministry, more leaders raised up, more local people that are raised up as leaders, so that they can continue to share the gospel and plant new churches.
Awesome. Well, Shannon, we don't want to take up too much of your time. We're so thankful for you for taking some time. I know it's bedtime where you are, probably getting close to it. And so we are thankful for you for being on the podcast today.
Thank you so much for having me again. I really appreciate it. And thanks for sharing about what God's been doing here in Cambodia and for supporting the work that's been going on here in Cambodia.
It is our pleasure.
Good to see you, Shannon.
That's going to wrap up our episode today. Our thanks, very big thanks to Shannon Smith, all the way from Cambodia, for joining us in the evening where she was. Our thanks to Bob for being a part of this too. If you want to support Shannon's ministry and the ministry of the Church of the Nazarene in Cambodia, you can find the link to that in the show notes. As always, when you give here at Shepherd, we invest that around the world to make disciples among the nations. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.
This podcast is a production of the Shepherd Church of the Nazarene, Gahanna, Ohio. Email to podcast@shepnaz.org and let us know what you think.